is alcohol ruining your diet? Are you currently in a situation where a couple of drinks on the weekends turns into binge drinking or binge eating, and it really results in this massive setback in terms of your fitness goals? Or maybe you're in a culture right now where all your friends like to go out, they like to drink a lot, and you have these fitness goals and you feel like now you have to choose between social, going out, or your fitness, and you're not sure how to actually behave in this situation. Well, if this is the case, I'm going to explain to you here a couple of strategies and give you a couple of things you need to know about how to correctly manage alcohol and how to even have a couple of drinks, have a good time without sacrificing your fitness goals. And that's really important that you can do both, because at the end of the day, this has to be sustainable. And by the way, none of this is a quick fix. It's going to take work on your part, so it's not some kind of easy little solution that you can just implement and get it done. It will require effort. And also, I'm not a specialist for alcohol addiction, so if you have alcohol addiction, like real addiction, go seek professional help. A lot of this here is based on my experience, having gone through the process myself, having to give up alcohol and having to actually manage it properly. Also doing this with clients who also have a social life and a vibrant one, where we've learned how to manage it using proper strategies so you don't have to sacrifice social for fitness or fitness for social. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Mario Tomic. If you'd like to learn more about exercise, nutrition, how to live a healthy lifestyle sustainably and have a great physique, consider subscribing below. Also make sure to hit that bell icon to enable notifications for future videos. And now let's dive into it. So the first thing you need to know about drinking alcohol and fat loss and fitness in general is that a couple of drinks doesn't do much harm. So if you have 1, 2, or let's say maximum 3 drinks, it won't really do much harm. If you plan for it, you incorporate it into your caloric intake, you manage your diet for that day correctly, it's not gonna do any harm. If you stay hydrated, all good. But the problem is staying at 1 or 2 or 3 drinks. And I had this issue myself. I'm not a moderator, and that's a problem, because when I do something, it's easy for me to have 1 turn into 5 drinks and 5 turn into 10, and I couldn't control it. And that was a big issue for me, and why I actually gave up alcohol completely is because I simply could not moderate. Every single time I would have a little bit, it would just lead into a chain reaction, not just with alcohol, but also with food, and I would feel really, really bad. It was a massive setback, not just in terms of fitness, but in life in general. And I actually gave up alcohol completely. I went cold turkey because it was holding me back in my career, business, fitness, social, everything. I was just becoming that guy who was getting completely wasted in the weekends, and I just didn't want to be that guy. And I actually have a whole story of that, a whole different video, which I'm going to link in the description below if you're interested in checking that out. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, Mario, you quit drinking completely. For how long should I do that? Well, for me, how I decided to do that is quit for as long as you need until you don't want it anymore, until you don't want a single drop of alcohol anymore. That's how long you need to abstain from it. And what happened is that after some time, when I reached that point, honestly, I didn't even want to drink anymore, because at that point, my life has changed so much that I didn't even see the value in that anymore. And since then, I maybe had a couple of glasses of wine here or there, but nothing special. I haven't been drunk in more than like 7, 8 years by this point, just because I made that transition. And it's good to quit for as long as you don't want it anymore, because you really rewire yourself and you kind of break that bad habit. So your brain is not really looking and craving it anymore. And that's kind of my approach. If you really can't moderate it, I usually recommend just completely cut it out and just go and plow through that, and your brain will rewire, eventually will become easier. But that's really the issue, right? It's not 1 or 2 or 3 drinks that is a problem, but it's that binge drinking session, and of course the binge eating afterwards. And even if you're not binge drinking, even if you're not having more than 1 or 2 or 3 drinks, it's important to note that alcohol is an appetizer and it will open up your appetite. So keep that in mind, because you got to be ready for that when you come back home. Even if you have a couple of drinks, you might feel extra hunger. So be ready for that. Save up some calories for after you come back home, or generally manage your diet correctly so you don't feel that hunger. Drink lots of water and all these other things where you can actually stay on track. So this is really important, because even 1 or 2 drinks can open up your appetite and lead you to overeat, which will again be a setback, not just because you drink a lot, but now it's more because you've just had more calories overall. So keep that in mind. That's one thing that I would be careful with. But other than that, there's nothing wrong with going out and having a couple of glasses of wine with friends, and that's totally cool if you can control it. If you can't control it, well, then maybe you want to consider giving it up entirely for some period of time. Now, the second thing that I hear a lot about when someone is trying to reduce the alcohol they drink or quit entirely is that their friends are going to be bothered. So people they hang out with, the people that they're going out with, that they're not going to accept this, so they're going to put a lot of pressure on you to drink more. And there's going to be some of that. I mean, if you're the person that always gets drunk with your friends on the weekends, and now all of a sudden you're drinking only 2 or 3 drinks and you're saying no, or you're not drinking at all, people will question that, and that's normal. That's something to expect. Now, the thing with this is that you're not supposed to be, the person that's maintaining the party. Like, the party is there and you can be a part of it and you can have fun, but it's not your responsibility to make others feel better about their food choices or their drinking choices. That's not your responsibility. So it's not like you have to get wasted because they're all getting wasted and they're gonna feel bad if you don't get wasted because you're not a part of the team, right? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. Like, your responsibility is to your goals, your health, and your life first. That's really what you want to think about. And also, people get over it. I mean, I had that resistance initially with my friends for a couple of times until they got it and I'm really saying no, and then they get over it easily. And it was much harder for me to get over the fact that I couldn't say no, that I actually said no to my goals in my life and everything I wanted to achieve and destroy the next couple of days. That was much more difficult than them having to get over the fact that I stayed at 2 drinks or not drank at all. So you kind of have to think about it this way. You have one minor problem on this side, which is them kind of getting over it and feeling a tiny bit uncomfortable, versus now having this one problem turn into 6-7 different problems where you're missing your fitness goals, you feel bad about not being able to say no to people, so you can't stand up for yourself, your social skills suffer, your business suffers, you're generally feeling bad the next day. So now you're multiplying the problems in this sense. So you want to think about it. Well, am I going to choose this minor problem or am I going to have 5 different or 6 different problems? So think from that perspective, it just absolutely makes sense to, again, stand up for yourself. And this is going to go a long way in life in general, because also, same with food. Sometimes you will have to say no to the second slice of that cake. Like, you had your cake and that's it, but you have to be able to say no to things if you want to be successful in life. That's what success looks like, saying no to one thing so you can have another thing. So being able to learn this skill overall, I think that's one of the things with alcohol that I got so much out of it, is when I actually stood up for myself, it really built up a lot of my self-confidence, my self-esteem that I didn't have before. And it was hard. I was an introverted guy. I was not the coolest person in the group, so me not drinking, I mean, I encountered a lot of peer pressure. A lot of people were questioning me. But then over time, I realized, they kind of just got over it. And I was really happy because I could go out, I could have fun with them, and everything was fine. And look, if there's that one person there who's nonstop forcing you and pushing you to drink and drink and drink, and they don't accept you if you're not completely wasted, you want to consider that relationship, if that's really something you want to actually have in your life. Is that a person that's on your team, or is that a person that really is looking out to actually sabotage you? Because that doesn't make sense to me. That's not normal human behavior. So that's a conversation you might want to have with that person. But overall, really, it's, again, not your responsibility to make other people feel better about their choices. That is not your responsibility. You are responsible for your life, your health, and your goals. Now, the thing that helped me a lot when it comes to making this transition from a guy who is unhealthy, I actually used to be a World of Warcraft player and I was doing like software engineering and stuff like that. And I was definitely not the type of guy who was living a healthy lifestyle and walking around with a six-pack and doing all these habits. That transition, actually viewing that as an identity and thinking about what's the type of person I want to become. And for me, when I first made that transition, I was like, well, I don't want to be that guy who's getting wasted in the weekends. I know a bunch of those types of guys, and I was that guy, and I just don't want to be that guy anymore. I want to be a different guy. I want to be a guy who takes care of himself. I want to be a guy that has responsibility toward himself, toward everybody around him, someone people can rely on, someone who's taking life a bit more seriously, someone who's really, on top of his game and health, fitness, business, like all these things like relationships, social skills. So I just didn't want to be that guy. So I really asked myself, okay, what's the type of person that I want to be? And then I asked myself, okay, what is that person actually looking like? What does that person behave like? How does that person go day by day? What choices they make? And it was much easier for me to actually make the right choice because I came from the right perspective at that point. I knew that if I declined that 4th drink, if I knew that I declined those things, that I was actually building up that identity, because that's exactly the choice that lean person that I wanted to become would make. And now I'm telling you, as a lean person, is that I am saying no to those things. So if you're currently not walking around with a six-pack, and if you want to have that lifestyle, you want to cultivate those types of habits, you just need to do what lean people do, and you will become that person. That's how it works. So really starting from the identity and the type of person you want to become, and kind of reanalyzing your life right now. What identity have you fallen into, maybe completely unconsciously, that you just kind of went with the flow and you've fallen into that person that you don't really want to be? And this is your chance to reinvent yourself. And alcohol could be one of those first things that you do in your life, that where you generate a massive change that then builds up that confidence where you can actually make other changes in your life. So really, it's the journey here with dropping alcohol for me that made a huge difference, and it could make a huge difference for you. So I definitely urge you, if you're having issues with this right now, to start managing it. It's going to pay off massively, and it's going to build up a large amount of self-esteem and self-confidence in social settings, knowing that you can rely on yourself without having to rely on substances like alcohol to be confident. You can actually be confident naturally if you just give up this idea that you're dependent. And that may be actually a trigger for you as well to handle this, because why would you be dependent on a substance to actually be confident? Why not just learn how to be confident? Why not build those skills? Become socially more equipped with skills, knowing how to behave, knowing how to basically communicate with people, getting out of your comfort zone a little bit, because those things are really the reasons a lot of people drink, is because they're uncomfortable in social settings. Instead of learning how to be comfortable, they rely on alcohol to actually be comfortable. And then when there's no more booze, they revert back to their old self. Instead of just being that guy, just be that guy who has that. And that's really my advice here. I'm going to leave a video here at the end as well that's going to help you actually get lean and instill some good fat loss habits in your life. So check out that video. It's going to be really, really helpful for you. Also, if you want to work with me as your mentor in your health and fitness journey, if you want to get amazing results, and if you're looking for coaching, and if you want to get some good support, I'm going to leave a link for that in the description below. You can check that out, check out all the details. Other than that, I will see you in that next video.